What's going on, G.I. Joes and Barbies? For this episode, I'm coming at you with a discussion. Before I go into that, the gameplay you're looking at here is Peanut Butter Cake Massacre. I'm releasing a new version of the map on Doom World. I changed around. I mean, it's going to be there's going to be some slight changes on the map. The gameplay is not going to change. The only thing that's changed is I aligned a few textures because some of them weren't. I noticed that some of them weren't properly aligned, so I went around, I fixed those. So yeah, but everything else though is the same. So, which when it comes to making big levels like that, or Carrot Cake Massacre, or whatever the case may be, any 6-hour map that I make, or a map that takes several hours, I mean, usually what happens is, like, sometime later after releasing it, I end up realizing there are some textures I forgot to align properly, so I had to go around and fix those. So yeah, that seems to be the norm for me. But I mean, when it comes to designing maps, I mean, that's gonna happen. So some mistakes you're not gonna pick up right away. You know, you're only gonna, some of them you only notice them after, just after looking at scrutinizing your map. So yeah, all I'm saying is some of them you're not going to pick up right away. So I just want to bring it out to you. I mean, that's usually the norm, because our brains are not designed to correct all mistakes at the in a short period of time. We just don't have that capability. So just want to get that out to you. But yeah, there's going to be a new version of this map sometime soon. I uploaded it yesterday, so I'm just waiting for the people to replace the old version. But I mean, it's not going to be a whole lot different. Okay, I mean, it's just going to be, some textures are realigned. So, anyways, on to this topic. This is an important topic to discuss because, most people are ignorant when it comes to these things. And this one is about saving money, okay? Now, if you're a middle class person, okay, like say you make about 50 grand a year, okay? Which, as a middle class person, most people in that category, they save their money in a bank somewhere, or they put that money in a savings account, because they know that they're going to need that money for retirement and things like that, or they may need it for other things, like paying off bills. I mean, you definitely need money to pay bills, okay, because without the money, you're not going to be able to pay your bills, and then your house gets repossessed, and there's a number of consequences you would face if you don't have any money. So that's why it's important to save it. And when you're a middle class person, I mean, you would know that you don't have like an insane amount to spend. So it's like your only option is to save it. Now, here's the question for you, okay? When I say most of us are ignorant when it comes to saving money, I'm talking about like when we have a huge, when say we won like $15 million, that type of money. Okay, we have a large amount of money. But most of us do when it comes to that is we have this potential to spend an insane amount in a short period of time. Now, here's the question. Now, granted, like say you have your own house, right? You're paying your bills monthly. You just won $15 million, okay? The question is, what's the proper way to deal with your money when you have that? Answer is save it. Make sure you save your money, because your chances of, like, say if it's a jackpot lottery, okay, your chances of winning another jackpot are like 1 out of every 14 million, and for a Powerball lottery, it's 1 out of every 292 million. So yeah, it's not promising, okay? Which, you know what? That's the reason why I don't play. Okay, that's the reason why I don't do lottery. I don't waste my money on lottery tickets or anything like that because chances are you're not going to win, okay? So don't waste your money on lottery tickets, please, all right? You know, like hoping that you're going to win a jackpot because you're not going to win, okay? I mean, yeah, you may win like maybe $10, but that's about it. You're not going to win like several million, okay? So I want you to be aware of it. And a person who say he did win like millions of dollars, you want I've already mentioned that we're tempted to spend an insane amount in a short period of time. I've already mentioned that. And you want to know what happens because of it is we run out of money very quickly, okay? You know, if you're like say you're a famous YouTuber who's got like 10 million subscribers, okay? And you make like half a grand a year, or why am I even saying half a grand? 500 grand a year, okay? $500,000 a year, okay? If that's how much you make, okay? The question, like, you know, you have to think about this, okay? Your fame on the internet does, when it comes to, it's not just the internet, but when it comes to fame in general, your fame does not last forever, okay? A lot of people think that once you're famous, you're always famous, which the bad news is that's not true, okay? You know, you may be famous for like maybe a couple years, and then after that you become irrelevant, okay? That's what happens. I mean, that happens, you know, with movies, it happens with TV shows, the list goes on. Alright, so you can't depend on your fame to last forever. And that's why I say if you're a person who earns a lot of money, if you're a celebrity, you need to be saving your money, not spending it, okay? Most people spend it. Now, people who do save money, and I applaud these people for doing that, is Richard Blevens, who's notorious for streaming Fortnite on Twitch, okay? He makes like $500,000 a month, okay? I mean, think about it this way, like how much money would you usually have when it would you have in order to retire? Usually about 2 million, okay? Usually it'd be about $2 million. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but that's just a guess. Usually about $2 million, alright? At least that would be your gross pay. But the question is, I mean, like, think about it. Assume that you need $2 million to retire. If you're in Richard Blevens' position, you only have to do your thing for 4 months before you retire, okay? Now, most people, at least if you're in the United States, most people spend about 40 years of their lives working before they retire, okay? They work like, usually they start working in their 20s and then they retire in their 60s, okay? I mean, that's usually the norm, even though the number of years alone doesn't determine whether or not you can retire. It's how much money you save, okay? And if you're a millionaire, I mean, most likely you're going to be tempted to spend an insane amount, and because of that, your times of being rich don't last very long, okay? So, as opposed to if you're a middle class person who's working full time, you know that you don't have an insane amount of money, so you don't have a choice but to save it because you're gonna need that money later when it comes to paying off your bills and stuff. Because you know that when you own a house, when you live by yourself, you're gonna be paying bills, okay? You know, that's a fact. You're gonna pay bills every month, so it's important that you save your money. You know, whatever money you earn, save the amount that you can, so that way if you need it later, which you will, it'll be there when you need it. So I want to give you guys an advice on what you should be doing with your money, because, you know, I mean, think about like what happened with like Wesley Snipes, okay? he was famous like when he was in the movies, and look what happened now. You want to know what happened? His house got repossessed. Okay, at least from what I've heard, though. Okay, you know, there may or may not be some misinformation, but at least from what I've heard, Wesley Snipes' property got repossessed because he's not rich anymore. He's not famous. Okay, I mean, he used to be during his career, but he is no more. So if you're a person who makes lots of money on YouTube, you know, instead of spending it, make sure you save it, because your fame is not going to last forever. Okay, you know, chances are it's only going to last for like less than 5 years. Okay, maybe 2 years, and maybe 3 years, and maybe 4 years. But most big time YouTubers out there, they don't last more than 5 years before they become irrelevant. So when it comes to earning money on YouTube, make sure you save it. I mean, there's people out there on YouTube who try to, I mean, I can't really blame them for doing it. I mean, they make a living off of doing YouTube. And nowadays, because of YouTube's new policy when it comes to what content you're allowed to monetize, you know, people nowadays, they open up like a Patreon, they open up Patreon accounts and they ask for donations and stuff like that. And with those donations being put in place, they can actually, it actually helps them sustain their living. But I mean, like, do you really have to be doing that? I mean, I get that you're trying to make a living, but you know, you're just begging for money, okay? You know, my advice to you when it comes to that is, if you're really that desperate for money, if you're really that desperate, why not get a job? Okay, get yourself a job, and you'll earn money that way. Why won't you do that instead? Okay, if you're a person who monetizes your videos on YouTube, most of you who monetize, which obviously, you know, everybody's different, but chances are you're only making about a few dollars a month. Okay, you're only making like $5 or $10 a month or whatever. It's not a whole lot. And if you think that monetization on YouTube or other video sharing platforms is gonna, if you think that's gonna save you from, you know, doing a conventional 9-to-5 job or 8-to-5 or whatever, if you think that monetizing your content is gonna save you from having to do that, the bad news is most of the time that doesn't happen. Okay, you know, you still have to get a job, because you know, that money that you earn online, it's not enough to pay off your bills. I mean, think about it. If you're only making $5 a month on YouTube or $10 a month, the question is, how's that enough to, you know, how's that enough to pay off your bills? Okay, how's that enough? Answer is it isn't. Okay, it's not much, because chances are you're going to be paying at least a couple thousand a month. So unless you're like one of the multi-million subscriber channels on YouTube, you know, monetization is not going to save you from having to do a conventional full-time job. It's not going to, alright? If you're a person who's asking for money, okay, you go, oh, hey, can I have $5 or something like that? Like, say you're an adult and you're doing it. I mean, instead of asking people for money, why won't you get a job? Okay, you know, when you get a job and you work, you'll earn money that way, and you'll have financial independence. Because when you're begging for money, you're not having financial independence. Okay, you're dependent on people to give you money. Okay, you're being dependent on other people for money. And to me, though, what you're doing is you're sort of wasting away other people's money, okay? So, I mean, I get you're trying to make a living off of doing YouTube or Twitch or whatever, but, I mean, why won't you, I mean, I'm not saying don't monetize content, okay? I mean, if you want to monetize, you can still monetize. I'm just saying, don't rely on monetization as a substitute for a 9 to 5 job, okay? Don't, because chances are it's not going to be enough to pay your bills, okay? What is going to be enough to pay off your bills is if you're doing a full-time job, okay? A conventional job, that'll be enough to help pay off your bills. Now, the only exception to that is if you get a channel like PewDiePie's or Ray William Johnson's, okay? I mean, that's an exception, but I mean, if you're one of those, if you have a channel like those, then I mean, save your money, don't spend it, okay? That's my advice to you. Just make sure you make proper investments. As long as you do that, you don't have to worry about running out of money very quickly, okay? You'll have money for many years to come, okay? As long as you're being smart about it. And I'll have you know, I forgot to mention this too, that I've actually learned, like back when I was in college, like this is like during my first semester of college, that I've actually learned that the rich people are not that much happier than the middle class. Rich people are not that much happier. The question is, why is that? You want to know why? I mean, if you want, and as I talked about earlier in this discussion about winning $15 million or winning a jackpot lottery, it's like, I mean, yeah, you have a lot of money now, but, you know, the problem is, like, the question is, well, what are you going to do with that money? Okay, the problem is, it's like you don't know what to do with that money. So, in that circumstance, I would save it. Okay, I would put it in a savings account, put it in a bank somewhere, and make proper investments. Okay, that's how I would go about doing it. Alright, because you're going to need that money later on. So, save your money, don't spend it. I know I sound like a broken record for saying this, but I have to keep saying it and try to teach you to be smart about your money, okay? Because I don't want to see you go bankrupt after a few years of being rich, okay? I don't want to see that happen, okay? I don't want to see your house get repossessed or anything like that. I want to see you be able to pay off your bills, okay? I want you to be able to retire early and stay retired without facing any consequence to your property, okay, such as repossession or things like that. So, I hope that all of you have enjoyed this discussion. I hope that everyone will follow my advice and remember to save your money. Don't spend an insane amount. I mean, if you need to buy something, if there's something that you want to buy, I mean, I'm not knocking you for that, but just don't spend too much, please. I mean, small amounts is fine, but don't. Yeah, we've been getting those spoofed calls, but anyways, I'm gonna wait until that ring finishes. There, that's better. I don't like talking while there's noise in the background, okay? If there's loud noise in the background, I don't like talking, so that's why I had to wait for that to finish. But I mean, if there's something that you want to buy, like say if you want to buy like a new computer or something, I mean, have at it. I'm not knocking you for that. Just don't spend too much money, okay? Small amounts is fine, just don't spend too much, okay? That's my advice to you. Save your money, and as long as you save it, you're going to be in good shape. Okay, and this is important for people who, especially for people who have like a large amount, ones who make like millions of dollars, because most of them at least are tempted to spend an insane amount in a small period of time. Instead of doing that, save it, and when you save it, it'll help you in the long run. So, I hope that all of you enjoyed this discussion, and I hope that all of you have a good one.